call the meeting to order of the County Board. Would you all please rise and recite the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It's nice that Derek wasn't here to step on it.
Guys, we're getting better. Seriously.
Today's Flag Day.
I would like to let everybody know that we missed out on Monday being able to wish Andy a happy birthday.
He's trying to hide him.
We'll get even.
61.
All right. Mr. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Certainly. Luddington.
Here.
Patrick. Here. Bruner.
Here.
Chittick.
Here.
Farnham. Here. Lorenzen. Voigt.
Here. We do have a quorum, so we'll move along with the meeting. Item number 4 is the minutes from the May 10th special meeting, the May 10th regular meeting, and the special meeting of the 19th and special meeting of the 22nd. Okay, do I hear, you've all had those minutes. Do I hear a motion to approve those minutes as submitted? Andy moves, Dan seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Claims against the county. You've also had those documents before you. Are there any questions or discussions of the claims for the county? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve those claims. Andy moves again. Carl seconds. Assume you're ready to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. They are approved. County board member claims. You've had those documents before you. Are there any questions or discussions? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve those claims. Dan moves. Andy seconds. Assume you're ready to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That is carried. Now we move forward to the part of the meeting for public comment. Do we have any public comment this morning? Hearing none, we're going to move along to the highway resolutions. You want to explain the first 4, kind of tie it together?
The last one.
The last 4. Okay, then I'm sorry, you're right. Okay, we've got number 1 is a resolution delegating authority to the county engineer to set and post reduced speed limit while traveling through highway construction zone FAS 683 Shiloh Road, and then the section number. We discussed that on Monday morning. Are there any questions? Obviously due to the construction and so forth down there. I'd entertain a motion to approve this resolution. Flood moves. Is there a second? Andy seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Clerk, would you call the roll?
Luddington.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Bruner.
Yes.
Chittick.
Yes.
Farnham.
Yeah.
It does carry, 5-0. Next is a resolution authorizing the county board to sign the Illinois Rivers Project road use agreement with Ameren Transmission Company for roads owned and operated and maintained by the county. Do I hear a motion to table that particular issue till the next meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Carl moves and Dan seconds. We had quite a discussion about that the other morning, and we had representatives of the landowners, and we're respect their opinions, and so we put it off for 1 more month. So, Mr. Clerk, would you call the roll?
Luddington.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Bruner.
Yes.
Chittick.
Yes.
And Farnham.
Yes.
It is carried, and we'll redress that issue next meeting. Do you want to just tie these 3 resolutions, or 4 resolutions together?
I will, and I'll try to do it quickly. 4 items.
in order. They need to happen. They don't necessarily have to happen, but they probably should happen in this order. First, Elbridge Township is petitioning the board for aid. Is petitioning the board, as we've done in the past many times, for us to use county funds to partially assist in the building of the Staley Bridge. The second one, then you will ask IDOT to anticipate funding for building such bridge. Again, we think we're probably going to build this bridge in a couple years if everything goes right. So first, Elbridge wants to petition you for aid. Second, you'll tell IDOT that you're wanting to build a bridge. That takes 4.5 years of township bridge program monies. We will have saved 2.5 years by the time we build it. The third one is important. This is, which is number 5. This is where you'll start your engineering. You already approved a phase 0 engineering study to do a type, size, and location down there in November. Now you're going to approve getting started with the preliminary engineering. Anticipate it'll take a couple years. Assuming everything goes well, the project should be ready for letting in, let's say 19. And finally, if you're going to do those things, would like for you to pass a resolution authorizing the chairman to enter an agreement to sign a promissory note with Interstar Electric for USDA Red Lake funds to pay for a portion of this project, the portion that we can't pay with because we can't get enough enough TBP funds stacked before they go into the lab school. I think we've talked about that enough that everybody understands. So I don't know how much further you want me to go. There is probably a 2-year, maybe more window here. Every one of these is revocable at any point. If anything doesn't, if it does not pan out, you guys can stop at any time. I encourage you not to, but is that enough, Jeff?
Yes, unless somebody has further questions.
And then you can ask as we go down through these. They're pretty straightforward, I think. Any questions on that or comments? 5-year repayment schedule on the promissory note. Half your CATV levy is what you'll use to pay it back. If the project stops, the monies received are going to be put into an account, a special fund account. They're talking to Don about a CD, 18 or 24 month CD. If you stop in the second year or change your mind, you'll just pay your CATV back with the proceeds from the Red Lake funds and pay the rest back later. I don't see a lot of risk here, frankly, other than us changing our mind and spending some money on PE, but we've done that more than once. So.
Okay, thank you. First, number 3 is resolution to appropriate aid from the County Bridge Fund to substantially assist the expense of the Staley Road Bridge project in Elbridge Township, Section 12-0412600BR. Do I hear a motion to pass that resolution? Carl moves. Dan seconds. Further discussion? Mr. Clerk.
Ludington.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Bruner.
Yes.
Chittick.
Yes.
And Farnham. Oh, Farnham.
Yes.
And Lorenzen.
Yes.
It does pass 6-0. And for the record,
Mr. Lorenzen has entered the meeting
okay.
at
Sorry, everybody.
9:07,
You're forgiven.
9:08.
Next is resolution authorizing county clerk to sign and transmit 2 certified copies of revised BLR 09215, anticipation of township bridge funds, Elbridge Township, Section 12-0412600BR. Motion, Carl moves.
Second.
Lorenzen seconds. Any further discussion? Mr. Clerk, would you call a roll?
Ludington.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Bruner.
Yes.
Chittick.
Yes.
Farnham.
Yes.
And Lorenzen.
Yes.
6-0, it is approved. Next is resolution authorizing county board chairman to sign the preliminary engineering services agreement with Knight and Associate Surveying LLC, TR 345 Staley Road, Section 12-0412600BR. Do we so move? Dan? And Carl seconds. Any further discussion? Mr. Clerk?
Ludington,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Brunner,
Yes.
Chittick,
Yes.
Farnham,
Yes.
Lorenzen.
Yes.
6-0, gentlemen. Next, in the final resolution under Highway is resolution authorizing County Board Chairman to sign promissory note with Interstar Power Corp. for revolving loan from the USDA Rural Economic Development Loan and Grant Program, better known as Red Leg, for the Staley Bridge Project, Section 1204-12600BR. Carl moves.
Second.
Derek seconds. Any further yes, sir.
Did you say that was a 1%
Yes.
loan?
That's what I've been told by email. I have not seen the formal documents, but yes,
I think the other reason why we did it now, because the rate could go up, right?
Absolutely.
Possibly.
Yeah, and we ought to be able to get the CD at about the same rate and,
Right.
you know, it just sits there.
Well, the biggest thing to remember is if we don't get it, we'd be kind of foolish to
Right.
start in on this because we do not have a funding mechanism to build this project without this. We do not have a funding mechanism to build it without this loan.
And we can start paying for it now.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
Mr. Clerk, the roll, please.
Ludington,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Brunner,
Yes.
Chittick,
Yes.
Farnham,
Yes.
and Lorenzen.
Yes.
It does pass 6-0. Number 9 is action on bids on the Crickman Building. We had a special meeting the 31st to open bids. We received 2 bids. One of the bids was from a Mike Wilhoit for $46,000. And then we received another one from the Hospital and Medical Foundation of Paris, Illinois, in the amount of $65,000. We discussed that on Monday morning. And what's your pleasure, gentlemen?
We accepted it.
Higher bid.
Okay. In other words, the Medical Foundation bid is for $65,000 you wish to accept. Okay? Any further discussion? We'll call the roll on that if you don't mind.
I'm sorry, they get a motion from Derek, and who seconded it?
I'm sorry, I did not delineate
So
that
that was
out. Sorry.
Andy that did? All right. All right. Now, you ready for a roll?
Yes, sir.
Ludington,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Brunner,
Yes.
Chittick,
No.
Farnham,
Yes.
and Lorenzen.
Yes.
And it does carry 5-1.
5-1.
Okay? We'll come back. We are going to have a meeting of the department heads and elected officials to go over the disposition of any materials and documents in the building and to set up a time frame through Derek and the representative from the foundation to move forward on this acquisition that they're making from us. Okay? Next item. Get my agenda out here. Authorization, authorized chair to execute deed of convict. I missed one? All right, see, that's what happens when okay, approve assignment amendment for the central management services contract, CIC 3690550 to the Illinois Department of Innovation and Technology. We discussed that in the morning. That has to do with the fiber optics and the amendment to the original contract. And our state's attorney has looked it over. Everything is in order. So I'd entertain a motion to approve the assignment of the amendment.
So moved.
Dan moves. Andy seconds. Any further discussion? We'll, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. It does carry. Next item, authorize chairman to execute deed of conveyance for the Joseph E. Meyer County Tax Agent to Christopher C. Young for parcel 15-02-34-384- 008. This does not fall under any, it's the usual conveyance. There's no reassignment or anything that we did the last meeting. Any questions on that one? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to authorize the chairman to sign that conveyance.
So moved.
Derek moves. Andy seconds. Do we need a, which way do we vote on this? I can't remember. Do we need a roll call or a simple?
We can roll Carl if you want.
Remember that?
Roll call. We need a
Why don't we?
roll call. Mr. Clerk?
Luddington.
Yeah.
Patrick.
Yes.
Bruner.
Yes.
Chittick.
Yes.
Farnum.
Yes.
And Lorenz.
Yes.
Okay, it does carry. So next is resolution to accept oath of office and bond from Kevin Key, trustee, Brockton Community Fire Protection District, Edgar County, Illinois. Carl moves. Carl rolls. Carl, do we have a second?
I'm sorry, who was second?
John seconded.
Yeah, thank you.
Roll call, please. Or roll, whatever.
Luddington.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Bruner.
Yes.
Chittick.
Yes.
Lorenzen.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, Farnum, then Lorenzen.
Yes.
I got out of, you got me flustered.
We got out of cadence here somewhere. When I missed item 10, I think we just lost it. Okay, it is approved. Okay, next, the sheriff has presented, and you had in your packet a semi-annual report. Sheriff, do you have anything to say about the report that you gave us? Okay, do we need to do anything? Do we need to accept his report, or is it
Yeah, I
just
think we're just, let the record show.
let the record show that the semi-annual report was presented by the
We
sheriff?
normally
And
vote
put on file.
We did.
And put on file.
So,
Whatever you want to do.
I think.
I'll
we
make a
vote.
motion that we
That's fine.
accept it and put it on file.
That's what we normally do.
All right, and Dan seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? It is accepted and placed on file. Thank you, Sheriff. Next is the county clerk, semi-annual report. Augie, do you have anything to say about it?
No, I'm going from memory because I don't have one right in front of me. No,
I-
the numbers are more in line with what they normally would be. If you'll notice, yeah, this time last year, we were going through big land transactions. And that's what pumped that number up, total to the general fund. And then you can see it has fallen back in line. Not exactly, but pretty close, within a few $100s. So, no, nothing unusual is popping out at me. Do you have any questions?
I'd entertain a motion to accept and place on file the county clerk's and recorder's report.
I'll make that motion.
Carl moves.
Second.
Derek seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. It is accepted, and we appreciate it, Mr. Clerk. Next item is to authorize the seeking of bids for the FY17 audit. It's been a couple of years since we have sought a bid on this item, so it seemed appropriate. I'd entertain a motion to authorize the seeking of bids. Okay. Andy moves. John seconds. Questions, gentlemen?
I think we talked about, we're not really complaining about the one we get. We
Oh,
thought-
absolutely not. It's just the prudent thing to do, and remember, we've fallen out of the category where we have to have that special audit done because of borrowing and grants, so it seemed only appropriate to look at that, okay? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, department head reports. Augie, since you're sitting in Don's seat, do you want to go first?
Yeah, you want me to give the treasurer? No. We have, my office has finished our portion of the tax cycle, which is all the levies and extensions, and we are using our new program, CIC, and there was a learning curve, but I believe now we are sitting on top of that learning curve. And next year, it'll just be a non-event. So we've handed it off to the treasurer and his folks, and so we're done with it, and I think we're on time. I can't speak for Dawn, but I know they're stuffing envelopes, and so let's see. The other thing I would like to say is we did issue our first special use liquor license. That was the short term. It was a 24-hour application, and it's going to be for a party in September. So got plenty of time. They showed their license, their insurance, they've got the money, everything's good. So, and I've had a couple inquiries since then also. So I think that was a good thing that we did.
Yes, sir.
This might be a good time to ask Augie about it. And we talked about the study session on Monday, had a request from a patron or whatever in my district about poker run. And if we need a policy or something for that, because he was stating that there's a statute in the state that requires permission to have a poker run through a county. I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't had time to check it. Do we need a policy on that?
We can double check that. We understand from 2 years ago when we dealt with the issue that we may charge.
Okay.
Okay, it's not a question of have to, but we decided that it was because it was a fundraising and it was not something we needed to regulate because there were already other regulations, that it wouldn't be required, and we weren't going to ask somebody to pay an extra $50 or $100 when they were trying to raise money in this county.
Well, okay.
And if there was some
The only thing
confusion
bothered me
over
is
it,
you
they
said
weren't listening.
You said there's a state statute on poker runs. So
Well,
that probably
there is
should
a
be
state
checked into.
statute that allows us to,
Okay.
but doesn't mandate
I
that we
explained
do.
it to him, right?
Okay?
Okay.
We can double check that just to make
Absolutely.
sure that that's the wording. But we weren't required to do that.
I told him that, but
Well, so we can offer clarification, but
probably would help.
if you,
It
well,
helped me anyway, to explain
Right.
it to him.
that's fine.
Okay.
We'll do
thanks.
that. Thank you. It's a good question. Anything else, Augie?
Just keep you up to date. I've executed the documents to allow us to do electronic documentary stamps, revenue stamps. So instead of, I mentioned this I think last month, instead of taking the stamps out of the drawer and licking them and putting them on the deed, it's going to be electronic. So hopefully I'll be able to report next month about that. But if not, it's in the works. And I just, hot off the press, have the proposal to replace both sets of doors in the basement. I won't go into a lot of detail because there's a lot of detail there, but they do need replaced. And we have well, it depends upon if you want to put a door opener on both the exterior and the interior door. And the gentleman explained to me that the ADA doesn't require that you have a button, just that they have access. And our handles are not ADA compliant. So the new doors will have the new handles. And the exterior doors are going to be heavy duty, insulated, and we'll have a heavy duty handicap accessible unit on it. And then when you come inside, you got for lack of a term, it's a little foyer where Bob puts things like snow shovel and whatnot. Come into the foyer, then we have a second set of doors, and his recommendation would to make those not as expensive, not as quite heavy duty. Probably don't need the energy efficiency. Of course, you pay for all those things. And it was his thought that maybe he'll sell us what we want, but he didn't think we needed to put a handicap button for the interior door.
Why don't we get with the committee
All
on
right.
this
All
and
right, well, I'm
and-
just telling you what he said.
I'm just,
Okay.
that can be,
All right.
that could
Well, I don't want to
be,
keep up, take your time, but I'm just updating. There's a lot of details there, and so you're looking at ballpark 16,000 to replace those doors.
Thought it was 10,000 Monday.
Well, that's what I thought it was. That's what I thought it was.
well, the committee, the Building and Grounds Committee needs to review all of that stuff, talk to Augie, get the information, understand it, and make a recommendation to the board that we can discuss.
I have a couple questions just about that, just in brief, if you don't mind. So this is a follow-on of trying to repair that door and get, there was an issue with how it was hung, and there was a round issue, right? So we're gonna replace the whole door, right?
Absolutely.
This was initially, the catalyst for this whole conversation was monies that we got granted to us to replace doors and make them more ADA compliant, right?
Yes.
Are those monies still in place, and we'll be able to use those for these replacement doors? And if so, is that 16,000, is that with or without that
Well, the money that we've received thus far has been used to take care of public health
money? Okay.
and the treasurer's office and the assessor's office, that building. And there was some left that we didn't have, well, I knew we wouldn't have enough, roughly 7,000, 8,000. So we reapplied to finish the project, and we got similar monies back. So I'm thinking that most of the money we have is going to be grant money that we received to do the project.
But you're thinking we probably have some spillover?
I think we'll have some spillover, yeah. A couple thousand maybe, if we go that route, to doing the full thing.
Yes, Dan?
If it costs extra, I think it should be set up where both doors open. I mean, it's kind of useless to open one door and then cut between, so you can't get the second door if you're in a wheelchair or something, right?
That's true.
Most of them seal
I
on both
agree.
doors.
Is there a need for that second foyer door? Could we just hang some beads
It's a good
or
idea.
something?
It's an airlock.
It's an air, oh, an airlock.
Yeah, it's called a-
In other words, you come in, you shut this door so you don't, when you open that door, it's not,
This is not the intercom.
well,
Did you say the inside doors are not ADA compliant?
That's
on the
correct.
handles, so
That's correct.
they do have to be replaced.
They do have to be replaced.
I thought, well, if it wasn't, we could just leave it inside.
Yeah, no, they need to be replaced.
And they can't be modified, probably.
And they can't be modified. Not that, those particular doors, they were built that way, and they have to come out.
Okay.
So, okay, well, I appreciate the input. Let's get together with the building committee.
And consult with the sheriff.
Oh, yeah, we'll consult with the sheriff.
Well,
Hey,
it probably is not a
I've
bad
taken up
idea
enough
to consider it in lieu of any security considerations in the future. Okay? Whether we have to do something or want to do
An
something,
additional
okay?
security feature.
Just to make sure that everything's,
Those beads probably won't work.
Then, talking about doors, I noticed when I came in, the basic door on the east side, you might take a look at it and talk with Bob, because looks like the concrete's coming up and the metal,
There by the break room? door?
yeah.
Yes.
And the door was standing about that far open, because it won't shut unless you pull it shut, so that needs some attention.
Worse than where was it?
East side basement, down the basement.
Well, I came in that door and didn't notice it. I probably left it open.
go check it, would you? Thank you, Augie. Do you have anything else?
Well, yeah, I do have one request.
Yes, sir?
Since we're working on doors and energy and whatnot, Would it be all right if we get an air conditioner in the executive washroom? I'm kidding. I wanted to end on a positive note.
Seinfeld.
Let's move on, George.
It's all positive. Do you have anything?
George is executive.
County engineer, do you have anything to add to what we've already
Major
discussed?
Bridge was final inspected and approved with no deficiencies by IDOT last week, and of course we closed the Horace Brockton Road, and we're beginning our summer maintenance program.
And we had received additionally some complaints about trash in the right-of-way, and that has been taken care of, as I understand it.
That's correct. And also anticipate that we'll, at the pleasure of the county board chairman, will likely be coming to you with the appointment of a noxious weed superintendent next month.
Dan Bruner.
It's noxious, not obnoxious.
That's right.
Oh, never mind.
Obnoxious, no.
Otherwise, I've got a couple of recommendations if it's for
I have
obnoxious.
the right, my age to be that way.
Monty, you're on, bud.
Not much. Money's coming on in, so that's a good thing. So I'll handle that. Good note. Thank you.
Angie, do you have anything for us this morning?
I expect to get my first e-filing on Tuesday. The only other thing I'm really working on now is switching collections for our old accounts. We were using the Pioneer Credit Recovery, and they're out of Florida, and the rep is from Nashville, Tennessee. So it's like, so I'm switching to one out of Taylorville, and our rep will be somebody who was a circuit clerk in Effingham. So she knows the ins and outs, and I think that should help us recover some of our old monies. And other than that, we're moving right along.
Any questions of Angie? Sheriff?
We've got quite a bit going on over there right now. All the repairs and stuff we've been trying to get done for a year. Everybody decided to show up the last week, and some between electricians and welders and fence builders and stuff. We're starting to get some of the stuff knocked out and buildings.
How's Clayton doing?
Better slowly but surely.
All right.
Maybe today or tomorrow, you know.
Are we short of deputy now?
Yeah.
Either way, yes. Short the hospital too.
Huh?
So we're short of security there at the hospital too.
All right, Janet?
Pretty quiet at the health department, not much going on. Don't really have any news. Did get a little bit of grant money that we've been waiting on all state fiscal year, which June 30th is the end of the state fiscal year. So they did get it in before the end of the year. They got it to us, so that's about it.
Just a question about, do you look at the power bills? Have our modifications to our air handling units cut those considerably over the summer months? I guess this will be the first month you really see a difference.
Right, exactly. And it's definitely making a difference, maybe not as much as I had hoped, that we had hoped on, but it also required quite a few months of adjustment to try to get it to where it needs to be. And it's still, you know, even though that part of it is new, it's still functioning with all the old, you know, ductwork and a lot of the old mechanisms that were not included as part of the bid that we took for that system. So, but it is making a little bit of difference. I'm starting to see a little bit.
Okay, good, thanks.
Anything else? Thank you. Jill?
Let's see, our emergency operation plan was due to the state by May 1st. We got the approval letter in the mail like last week, so that was approved, which is a big thing for our funding. We held our exercise on May 25th. The shortest exercise in the world, but it wasn't really my doing. What else?
How are the high schoolers? Are they okay? They recovered from their...
They recovered. They got lost. They sent a couple of them to Easy Care when they were supposed to stay at the hospital, so, but it was fine. But no, they appreciate all of them helping, and Blood even drove them out there to the airport for us. And, then I'm trying to think, we got a new badge maker. We are waiting patiently for someone to come hook it up for us, but other than that, we will have badges, and hopefully everybody can get there. New badges.
Have you
I think
called
we've been
Ross?
waiting for how long? January? something,
Oh,
December.
something like that.
Have you contacted Ross to get it hooked up or
We
set?
have a couple times, yes.
All right.
They forget about us out there, nobody.
Well, I can't understand why.
Once you get those badges, it'll be way more
We,
important.
I know, we have pot in the fridge.
Do,
I mean,
do we need badges?
They'll
We
get
don't need
doors-
those.
they'll get the doors fixed.
Thank you, Jill. Dina?
We finally got 7 people all agree on one day for the public farmland hearing. It will be Tuesday, July 18th at the Farm Bureau. The flight project's a little over 3/4 of the way done. We got good news, it's going quicker than they thought. He will be delivering them, he hopes, in August, so we're very thrilled for that. And the Paris Township is ongoing for reassessment.
That's a quadrennial.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I think I caught everybody. All right. Moving on to committee reports. Dan?
Talked to Andrew at the animal shelter, all the cameras are functional now, which took a while to get done, but they're done. And Andrew said she moved 9 dogs last week, which is good. They have a reciprocal agreement with Park County, so they take dogs over there.
You said that better than you did in the study session.
I didn't want to add that. No, it works out very well. 708 meeting, still got problem with funding from the state, but we're okay with it because everybody else can't get any money either. They still are talking about a new building, and it's going to be a while, I think, on that. So. And it'll probably be, I think it's out by the hospital, it's where the site will be. That's probably a ways down the road. Other than that, no problems.
Andy?
We're getting ready to replace one of the last units that have rusted out, the unit rusted out, and so there'll be Tom Judy will come in with the lift and lift the old one off, set the new one up on top of the portico. This is the air handling unit up before the courtroom upstairs. So, and after they do that, everything's in pretty good shape. I think that's replaced most of them. There's a couple that are, I believe they're like 5 years old, not that old, so we should be in pretty decent shape as far as the units in the upstairs. There's some other little things going on as far as repairs and things that we're going to try to do to the steam valves and things in the all through all the radiators in the courtrooms or in the courthouse during the summer. And I did get a little bit of, I haven't, initial contact from someone on the, looking at redoing a elevator, and a couple of different ideas. Basically got to replace all the operating parts of the elevator. They don't make anything that you can repair any of that with, so it's kind of preliminary. I've got I hate to say anything after Augie said 10,000 to 16, so hopefully by the next study session I'll have some more correspondence with some of these people and give you a better idea of what we're looking at.
Are we looking at being proactive, or are we going to wait till something happens?
We need to be proactive on this. Because once something happens, then you're done until you can fix it. And some of the, there's different ways you can go about fixing it. If we decide to put it right back where it is, you can do stages where you can put like, do $20,000 this year, $20,000 next year.
That was going to be
and spread it out. If it breaks, you got to pay for it all. You got to do everything because they can't fix it. So, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. It passes inspection every time right now. It's perfectly safe, but it's just if it breaks.
Dan will go in that elevator right now, right top to bottom.
We'll all watch
how
it.
safe it is.
If it breaks, would you have to shut down the upstairs courtroom since it would not be accessible?
That'd be up to, it wouldn't be, it would not be up to us, it'd be up to the judges what they decide.
There's no reason why you would have to shut that down.
So basically, we're being proactive and crossing our fingers that we keep ahead of it, and, yeah.
We can get the guy that does the palm frond in the executive washroom to carry people up and down the stairs. But
You're a lot stronger than I am.
second job.
I've got a question. Yes. You're talking about Tom Judy coming in with a crane, which is to fix that one there.
Yeah.
Is the clock still not working?
That's what I was gonna ask too.
I just
It's not
wondered.
near big enough crane.
Okay.
In fact, when I had that guys come in with the lift, I asked them if they could get up there. The problem is that it's so far out, you have to get a crane the size of the one that we sat up to do the bell tower to reach that.
So that was their problem. They had the height, but they didn't have the,
Right.
they didn't have the height, they didn't have the reach.
Anyways, best thing if I can find something to repel off that, because there are hooks.
The hooks are in the right spot.
The hooks are in the right supposed now. He's playing the guy from J.J. Smith, I think, out of Indiana somewhere. I've got his number, talked to him. He said he used to do that stuff, but he goes, I'm getting too old to go swinging from the ropes.
You got me the thing, the courthouse roof and tear out one day, so I'm out there taking the
They
show.
yelled up at him and said,
Yeah, we
hey,
did.
I got a job for you.
Yeah, hurry up.
What they need to do on the clock, I've always wanted to climb up there on
Well,
the
okay, there you
Not
go.
bad.
There you go.
Check with your insurance. Yeah.
Might look up there, your fifth bull might be
Yep,
up
that'll
there.
have your insurance here.
Anything else, Sandy?
That's it.
Phil?
I have nothing with the claims deal, but I did go to the meeting I go to at Eastern for the regional superintendent, since I'm the representative of this board to whatever that is. And I listened to.
You're supposed to know after the meeting what it was.
Well, all they do is they really just discuss how much money they're gonna get from the state, or if they're gonna get any for education, and how much in the panic mode everybody's in, and the fact that they don't think a lot of schools are gonna open, and that sort of thing, and that's about all I could tell you, because when the meeting was over, I didn't know any more than when they started, because they don't know. They're waiting for the state to make their budget, make their decisions, they can't do anything until then. And they think, I guess they're recommending to, they aren't, but the words around it. You know, let them know how far you can go on what you have school-wise in closed school.
Right.
Force the legislature to come up with a budget, whatever. I mean, that's their idea, and it's just all discussion, it's all a question mark. Besides that, the free meal is a good
I was
night.
gonna ask you what did you have to eat?
Ooh, it's good.
Good.
Yes, it's always good. It's free.
Thanks, Phil.
Plate of gruel.
I don't know nothing back.
John, do you have anything?
The drainage ditches aren't doing a whole lot this week.
There you go. Carl?
One thing I have, I need to get with the sheriff sometime today to discuss some things. So before you leave, maybe set up, get together. That's it.
Okay. And we're waiting to hear back from, any feedback from the state's attorney on issues of legal assistance,
I
so.
was gonna ask if we have any information.
Derek,
Just happy to be here.
living the dream,
What's that?
living the dream.
That's right.
I kind of went over things on financial matters. We did, Don is busily stuffing tax bills so everybody can get some joy later on this week. And, everything looks like it's on time, and the
We
state,
know when they're coming out, so I can alert emergency room at the hospital for the people coming in.
I'll have him text you, okay? At any rate,
Put that in paper.
the due dates are gonna be pretty similar, the two due dates, as they were last year, at least at this point. You did receive the current fund balances. That does reflect, we did have to borrow $150,000 to make up the shortfall in the IMRF fund, where we made that $200,000 prepayment. So that's reflected in here. Budget-wise, we went over that. We've got 58% of the year has transpired, and our expenditures are roughly at 52%. And that includes the last payroll of the month, so we're on target and on line. The other issue financially that I'd ask you to think about, we discussed briefly Monday morning, was once we do have and completed the transfer for of the Kreckman building, we might look at what is left of the 65,000 after we've paid any expenses that we have in the transfer, and look to put that into the capital courthouse improvement fund for repayment of the bond issue. So that was the only other thing that I had to note. Do you have any questions, or is there anything that I can help you with? Okay. We do need to go into closed session to deal with reviewing and dealing with closed session minutes. Is that correct, Augie?
That is correct.
Well, it's my understanding also that the state's attorney does not have any need to meet with us. No. So is there any other reason that we need to go into closed session other than dealing with the closed minutes? If not, I'd entertain a motion that delineates that.
So moved.
Okay. So we're going into closed session to deal with, and who seconded it? And Andy seconds. We're going into closed session to only deal with closed minutes from the last 6 months. We have to have an obligation to review that every 6 months. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. We are going into closed session here in a couple minutes. Thank you all for being. Hey John, do you mind opening that door, please?
We are rolling.
Okay, we are out of closed session. We have one more agenda item to handle, and we need a motion from one of you gentlemen to keep the past 6 months closed session meetings closed.
So moved.
Derek moves. Andy seconds. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. It is carried. So those minutes will remain closed of the closed sessions. There being no further business to come before the meeting this morning, we are, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Again, the Derek Andy routine, moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. We are adjourned. Thank you, guys.